At the beginning, we're only going to separate the really light color and the not so light color. So we're gonna first use this 1-inch flat brush. And first I'm gonna think about what color I'm gonna use. Okay, alright, I'm gonna get a little blue color. I'm trying to make it a little bit, use all the color that I have over here. For now, it make it look like this, and get a little bit more red. And when I get the red color, watch me, and I get it from the side. Now this color is close to neutral. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get a little bit more water now. Now let's take a look. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make the backdrop a little bit darker. All I'm gonna do is just light color and dark colors. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna paint it around over here. And get a little bit more water, otherwise the color cannot move around. Okay, now the top a little bit darker. So leave the top here of this item look lighter. It's without the darker color tone next to it, you won't be able to see that it's light, right? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna keep mixing color as I go, and I'm gonna make this a little bit darker around here. Okay. And coming down, a little bit more water, and this doesn't need to be so dark. I'm gonna come down here, that's for the backdrop. Okay, I'm also going to go around over here, there's a gap in between, and that you can see the handle a little bit lighter. If you want to see a little bit lighter, you have to make the neighbor colors a little bit, tone down a little bit in the value. So you can see that this brush such huge looks like compared to the round brush. You still can do a pretty accurate small shapes by using a different corner, different side of the brush, a tilted and different movement, right? So let's keep going.
So when you have like the buildup of water, does that matter?
No, it's going to, there's not lots of water, it's actually going to dry really quickly. Okay. So I'm going to do it right around over here, so it make the color a little bit more consistent. So it looks like they belong to the same background, right? So I'm going to keep going on that. Okay. But over here, it's a little bit separation into here. That's good. Now, I'm going to coming down to here. I'm also going to smooth that a little bit and also put a little color on the table. See this? Do you notice the way I'm moving my brush? I'm doing a little bit smaller shape. I'm moving it in this direction. You see that? I can twist the brush too. And I put a little small shape, like that. So make it very controllable. Like that. And over here I'm also give a little fold. And maybe a little bit darker in this area. So that's good. Now when it's still wet, we talk about edges. Like the cast shadow over there doesn't really look really sharp. That's the perfect timing, right? So I'm gonna have a little blue, and again, mix with the 3 colors. A little blue, make it a little darker, and make a little red. Get a little red from the side. Okay, a little red, and got a little bit yellow, so a little bit gray. Now what I want to do, I'm gonna this time, I'm gonna start from the shadow side of the item. On the left side, it's actually shadow side. I'm gonna actually going down like this. Look at my brush moving. I'm gonna separate the shadow side and the light side. Okay, moving over here and coming up a little. See that? Now I'm moving with the side of my brush. Now I'm coming down here. And I try not to use too much dry brush look. I'm gonna coming up here. Now here we go. I don't have to capture exactly the same color that I see because I try to make it just one color. And I'm coming around. Now you see the 3-dimensional look already on this item. So I'm gonna move here and coming down here and move a little here. Keep looking. You know, Whether or not you're drawing or doing watercolor is from observation. You are looking and taking the color and interpret it on the flat surface. Now this area is still wet. You see that when I put the color in here, the edge immediately become blur, right? Like this is perfect. Looks like it catch the shadow. Now at the same time over here, it's the same color over here, so I'm going to put the second layer in this area, like that. Make a little bit the same color over here and coming in over here too, and maybe a little bit over there, like that. Move the color over there. And over here, I'm going to have a little bit color, and this is still wet, and I have a little bit broken shape. That's probably good. And the background over there, I'm going to keep it like that. That will be fine. And over here, I have a little shadow, at the catched shadow. Underneath over here, I'm going to add that color over there too. But now the color looks a little bit kind of really sharp edge, and I can fix that pretty easily. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to wash my brush. I'm going to lay it on the side, put it on the table, and I'm going to come in to use my round brush. What I want to do with the round brush, first here, I'm going to smooth this transition. The timing is very important, and if you wait too long, the water may be different. Now I'm going to dry my brush. I'm going to just brush it through. Have the color going through here, and this is probably have some texture. I might want to come back to change it again after it dries. So if something that you cannot finish it when it's still wet and wait until it dries, it will be much easier to manage. Now I'm going to make this side actually a little bit darker like this, and the bottom over here also a little bit darker too. Relatively the same color that I'm using, just lighter and darker, right? Over here, good. And I'm going to make this a little bit softer on the edge over here. Now I'm going to go into the smaller shape. Now on the top over here, ooh, some yellow color too much. And I'm going to do it here because that already dried. And I make the top over here a little oval. It actually looks a little bit darker. Okay, good. That's good. And over here a little darker too, and put a little color over there. So painting is very easy. Now what I want to do, I'm going to do it to the shadow side of the handle. I'm going to put this color a little bit darker. And now start this. In order to make it look three-dimensional, I have to make the shadow side and the light side separate. And I'm going to have it here, coming down. And over here in the middle over here is the colors is kind of the same. I'm going to move it down here to see the shadow side of this handle, like that. Okay, up here, we need a little bit separation. I'm going to start over here. Here we go. Move it to this side. Like that. Give it a little bit details. And over there too. And next, I'm going to show you a lifting technique. Before I going to do that, I'm going to use my brush, do a little adjustment. So one thing over here, I want to have the little light shape coming up over here. So to do that, it's simple. The clean brush can take the color away because of the water in your brush. Pretty easy. I'm going to have this a little bit come out a little bit softer. Okay, now I'm going to have it a little bit softer over here, and I'm going to come back here. This already dried, close to dry. I maybe come back a little bit later, but over here I wanted to have a little bit blur effect, a little bit softer. So I'm going to use this big brush. If you just use a small brush, it's just going to make more texture. Even a round brush, use this big brush, really help you to get the big area change. Okay, I'm going to have that. I'm going to have this a little bit softer. Okay, now the thing's almost there. And you can see the light side, the shadow side. And I'm going to use just this brush and have a little reflected light. It has some reflected light reflect back to the shadow side. of the objects by just moving the color. This technique, I call it lifting off technique, and very practical for watercolor. Now you see that is the light coming back to the shadow side. Okay, almost there. Just a couple touches and the painting would be finished. So I'm going to start from the bottom over here. It have a pretty dark color, so I'm going to mix the color. Now, how to mix the darker color? Just use less water. Right? This is good. I'm going to start at the bottom. A little darker details. I'm going to take this color, get a little bit red in it, and a little bit more blue. Okay, look. So when you get home, I like to see you to take something simple and try it. To paint with even just one color. And like you can get an apple, you can get a pear, you can get a spoon, anything you want to see. And then want to try it. Okay, there's a bottom over here because there's no light get into the gap over there. And the top over here have a little dark color, the paint on the handle. And I'm going to come up over here. I'm going to start putting the details. I'm going to make it a little bit darker. And I need more color. Now let's see. You see that? Pretty dark, isn't it? Okay, I'm going to get it right here. Do you see me holding over here? Use the other hand. You support the hand so you can feel a little bit more sure. Now move it. I'm going to make it a little bit broken. A little broken line, and this line coming here a little bit thicker. Now I'm going to coming over here. See that turning. I'm going to refill my brush and keep going. Okay, keep going. Okay, almost there. So I'm going to leave a little gap over here as the highlight, as the top over there. Okay, give a little bit more down here. And the painting's almost there, but the only thing I want is this color should be a little bit lighter than the catch the shadow, or from what I see. And also I want this a little bit smoother. So I'm going to do the final adjustment, and then the painting will be finished. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to see that a little reflected light over here, use my round brush to take up the color over here so I can show the transition from the area, how that's supposed to be turning as the objects. Right? So that's good. And I'm going to add a little bit darker color at here to separate the handle and the catch the shadow underneath. So that with the darker and lighter color, you actually be able to separate and tell the story between how the object turning change. Okay, that's good. Now I'm going to use my bigger flat brush. Now I'm going to start. First I'm going to smooth this. How you smooth it? Just use water. Especially after you dry, use the water, smooth it, and you make it much better looking. It's called lifting up the colors. Much better now. It's smoother. And over here, and I have a little bit lighter style over here coming in to the middle. It's because of the reflected lighting. Okay, now in the outside, now I'm ready to add the last layer to make it a little bit darker. Okay, now maybe a little bit darker, a little bit red, a little bit blue, and here you go. Now what I'm going to do, look at the way I'm moving my brush. Okay, now I'm going to adjust the water as the brush pretty clean. Now I'm going to soften how the catch the shadow actually disappear into the background. Okay. And the shadow side of the handle down here maybe need a little bit more attention. So you can create a little bit darker, so create a little bit contrast. And coming down here a little bit like that, and a little bit darker over here. And I'm going to let you, this color will be too much blue, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to just get a little red, right? We talk about that. If you want it to be other colors, make it a little bit, you see that too much blue, you do a little bit more red into it, just glaze over. This technique is glaze over, also overlay wash. Now the color a little bit warmer. That. So you can see how just by using darker and lighter color, composed together in different locations, they create a contrast. And they can tell the story. Hey, there's an object over here, and that is the background over there, and making the objects to standing out as the center of the interest.